Good morning, children. Welcome to the session. We are discussing fourth lesson of 10th standard English, first language, English. It is Louis Pasteur, conqueror of disease. So, this is the second session. We are discussing regarding this lesson. So, in the previous session, we have discussed regarding the Louis Pasteur, how he was different, why he was considered as the conqueror of disease, and the nature of his thinking, and the opinion regarding the bacteria, and also of how his experiments are different with others, and regarding the birthplace and education professor. He was serving as a chemistry professor in the university, that is of the Strasbourg University. So that we have discussed, and when he got a solution for a problem, he used to share with the wife and also of the others who are helping him. That we have discussed. That is up to 5 paragraphs we have discussed in the previous session. Let us know the remaining paragraph of this lesson. 6th paragraph, children. Note down the textbook. Note the textbook. That is, observe carefully. Take out your textbook and observe the lines of the textbook. For 6th paragraph. In 1854, Pasteur was appointed head of a College of Science at Lille, a busy manufacturing town in northeast of France. When he was working with his experiments and as a chemistry professor and as a scientist, in 1854, Pasteur appointed as a head of a College of Science in Lille, that is where the northeast of France. That northeast of France was a manufacturing town. It is Lille. Lille was a manufacturing town. So many of industries were there in the town. So he was pleased about this because he always felt that trades and industries could be helped very much by the researchers of men of science. So, when he became the head of the College of Science for the town Lille, he was very pleased, happy, because he thinks that he felt that trades and industries could be helped very much by the researchers of men of science. His chance to be useful soon came. That is, he thinks that where there are industries related to the science and research, there no doubt so many of problems will be there, and that problems will be the study material for them. So in that aspect, he was very happy that at least in this manner he can go on contributing the society, inventing, finding the solutions for the problems. His chance to be useful soon came. So next paragraph, 7th paragraph. Pasteur, as a young chemist, had always been interested in the problems of why and how living things decay. The first, you can say, the experiment on this, that is, why and how living things decay. Why milk turns sour. Why meat goes bad. Why wine ferments. He started to give some lectures in Lille on fermentation. Fermentation, you know that by the action of bacteria, fermentation takes place, decay takes place. The food is going to be spoiled, isn't it? So one of the chief industries in Lille was the manufacture of alcohol from beetroot, and he was fortunate in being able to carry out experiments in some of the breweries. One manufacturer consulted Pasteur about his beer, which was turning out badly. And Pasteur, by helping this brewer, managed to discover all sorts of things that he did not know before about the yeast. Yeast is used to make beer, foam and bread rise up lightly. Pasteur became certain that yeast was alive, made up of tiny living cells. When these cells were healthy, the yeast acted well, but if they were diseased, the yeast and the beer went wrong. So that is the solution. We found that the brewer, when came to approach Pasteur for the thing that is going bad, that is of the alcohol, that is brewerage was going to be spoiling, it is turning badly out, and all the the alcohol, that is which was manufactured, was going to spoil. So he found that reason for this is yeast, and when the yeast cells are in good, they are not going to cause any harm. But when these yeast cells are going to be diseased, and when they are going to be ill, then this will go wrong. The beer will go wrong, and the reason for this is the yeast. That he found that the wrong that is going to happen for the brewer manufacturer and turning the alcohol and beer going wrong is the yeast. After a few years, next paragraph children, after a few years, Pasteur was made director of scientific studies at a famous college in Paris. He was still thinking about decay and yeast and germs. And one of the problems that he was trying to answer was this: do germs form from other germs? Do germs form from other germs? Or do they just come of themselves? Listen carefully, children. When he was become a director of scientific studies at a famous college in Paris, he was thinking about decay and also yeast and germs. And the problem that he was thinking that for the answer, whether the germs form from other germs or do they just come of themselves. People like Pasteur believed that germs were carried in the air and might infect other things that came in contact with them. Repeat once again. People like Pasteur believed that germs were carried in the air and might infect other things that came in contact with them. Others believed in what they called spontaneous generation. That is spontaneous generation. That is, they believed that germs had no parents but just occurred by themselves. People, that is, they believed that germs had no parents but just occurred by themselves. Pasteur, next paragraph, Pasteur proved that he was right by a very simple and clever experiment. He put some soup into some bottles and then he boiled it in order to destroy any germs that might already be in the soup. After that, he heated and pulled out the neck of each bottle until it formed a long narrow neck with a big bend in the middle. So he chooses such a bottle with a long neck with a bend in the middle. The soup remained there for a long time, and it never went bad as it would have done if it had. So the soup remained there for a long time, and it never went bad as it would have done if it had been standing in a bowl in the kitchen. That, said Pasteur, is because there are no parent germs in the soup, and they cannot reach it because of the vent in the long tube. So he took one of the bottles and spilled a little of the soup down the tube so that it settled in the vent. This soup went bad. We often speak of dust traps. Well, this bend in the tube was a dust trap, because the dust, which as we know, may carry germs with it and could get far as far the bend, but no further, and it settled there and infected the soup. Simple experiment. It showed that is, when the bacteria is in contact with the air, dust, it is going to infect. So this is only one of many experiments, hundreds of experiments which Pasteur made to show how full the air is of dust. The air is of dust particles, and now germs may be carried by this dust. One very useful experiment was made to show the difference between pure and stale air. Pasteur again filled some bottles with soap. He took some into a little hotel bedroom where the air was hardly ever changed, broke their necks off so that the air could enter freely, and after a few minutes sealed them up again. Then he took some bottles into the field nearby and did the same with them. Finally, he opened some on the top of a high mountain and again sealed them up. Here, three situations. He has taken a soup and boiled it, destroyed the germs which is present in that, and he took one of that soup in a bottle to the place of a hotel bedroom where the atmosphere, the room was not clean, not changed. Okay, and he closed that. Another one, the same bottle with soap in open air. He again sealed them up after leaving some minutes. And then the third bottle with the soap to the top of a high mountain, and again he sealed them up. So three samples of soap in different bottles. One in the bedroom, another in the open field, and one in the high on the top of a mountain. Okay, so finally open. What was the result when they were examined? The bottles opened in the hotel bedroom were full of soap which had gone completely moldy. The bottles opened in the field were moldy but not quite so bad. Those opened on the mountain had no germs in them at all. So, from this we conclude that our air, the dust, is full of germs. When we come in contact with them, we get the infection. That is, the soap go wrong, completely mold. With that of sample of the bottle which kept open in the bedroom and then sealed. So the second example, that is opened in the field, and after that the closed one also got moldy. Infection was taken place, but it is not as much as that of the bottle kept in the hotel bedroom. Whereas the third bottle sample, that is kept on high on the top mountain, had no germs in them at all. So, like that, with simple experiments, he is going to be solving the problem found in the solution. So nowadays we pay a great deal of attention of pure air, open windows, freedom from dust, garden cities. Pasteur was one of the first to show how necessary all these are if we are to fight against germs and disease. So he showed that we require pure air for our health, and if it is the surrounding is not good, the atmosphere is if it is full of mud, full of dust particles, not clean, we are going to be affected by the germs, and also the diseases will spread, will be told in that time only by this Pasteur. Children, we'll stop here. I think in the next period we'll discuss the remaining things. So we stop up to 11th paragraph. The next period we'll discuss the remaining paragraphs, children. So take care. Have a nice day.